listen, I'm going to have fun again. I've spoken to you guys before. I'm going to start my point off by asking John and Stephen their opinion. Can you tell me what the point of a captain is in a football team?
Well, a captain for me, he sets the standard on the pitch. A captain hasn't got to be one who shouts and rants and raves. I think other footballers follow captains by example. We don't necessarily see them in action sort of in the dressing room, because that's pretty personal, and what happens in the dressing room stays in there. But certainly you lead, you get on the ball in difficult situations, you lead from the front. Even if you're not playing particularly well, Paul, you still do your very best to encourage the guys around you. For me, I played with some brilliant captains. Lambert was a brilliant captain, Tom Boyd, and I'm sure our own Barry Ferguson in here, played against Barry many a times. He was a wonderful leader for Rangers. He would drive the team forward. Celtic fans would say that. Celtic players, certainly I played with, would say that. We all had time and respect for Barry Ferguson going up against him. So for me, I think I've told you there what I believe a captain's role is. Over to you, Stephen.
Stephen, you are the captain of Falkirk.
Yeah, I mean, I know what Paul's getting at. He's questioning Tavernier's captaincy. He has been the captain for a long time, and he's overseen a period of Rangers where they've been second prize to Celtic for a long time, and I can see why he comes under so much criticism, because part of the role as a Rangers or Celtic captain is to deliver trophies, deliver titles, and it's something now that's gathered pace on social media when he's doing these interviews after narrowly losing the big games, and I do think the heat is cranking up on Tavernier's captaincy. So James Tavernier didn't go into a manager's office one day and ask to be captain, and he's never going to go into the manager's office and say, look, this is too much, take this off me. That's for whoever the manager of Rangers is to see fit who he thinks is the best captain of Rangers. And I do think when I was a young player at Watford, I played with the greatest captain I had. He's now the Birmingham manager, a guy called John Eustace. He actually spent a long time at Murray Park. Would he want to sign for Rangers? And he was an amazing captain on and off the park, and he kind of set the standard for the whole club. Didn't train every day as such, but you just learned so much from him. He led by example, and he was the face of any sort of defeat or draw, and that's what James Tavernier's facing. And as I said, would I have been surprised if a new Rangers manager comes in and signs a captain? No, I wouldn't be, because it is a long time to be second prize.
Paul?
Listen, that was great points by John and Stephen. I appreciate that, particularly with Stephen captain, because the reason I'm saying my point is I was at the game on Sunday, and it wasn't me, it was a whole section, and I've been a few bits in Ibrox, and I'm hearing the same things for the same fans. I'm thinking it's not just coming from me, and I'll tell you why. And here's some facts to back up my argument. I hope you think every time I phone the show I'm quite reasonable with my points. I'm not character assassination or anything. But here's my points to back up, right? I was talking to my mate about it. The guy's played over 20 odd Old Firm games and lost the majority of them, right? He's been the captain for 6-7 years in a period where Celtic have dominated. Now that's not just down to him, he came up as a championship player. But in all the major games we've played, there's a Celtic game last year, we beat Celtic 3-0. Now I said to my mate at the time, aye, that counts for nothing. That's a nothing game, right? It showed a bit of light coming through, fair enough, but every game we've played in a big Europa League final, Scottish Cup final last year, League Cup final last year, the Scottish Cup semi-final last year, we've lost them now. Paul, how many, the common denominator is he comes in, every new manager we come in, he's the captain, right? Now I know there must be things happening in the football club, but it's getting to the stage where I'm actually thinking, is James Tavernier just saying the right things to stay a captain? And I get what Stephen's saying. I spoke to Stephen before in your show about this, and he was kind of agreeing with my point. It needs a rebrand, and I'm telling you now, if it's going to be a new manager, because I'm getting a guy sitting behind me at the Sunday said Michael Beale is like a used car salesman with sound bites. I'm getting fed up. These sound bites of we'll do this and we'll do that.
That's harsh, isn't it? That's harsh.
Paul, listen, as a fan, paid good money to go to the games. I feel like I'm entitled to my opinion now. It is
Of course, sure.
Right, fair enough. I'll take it back. The used car salesman.
There's some great used car salesmen around. I think that's my point. Yeah, as well to Michael Beale.
What I'm trying to say, Paul. No, I'm trying to just say that he's saying the things that I love to hear. Right, he's telling us, I'm taking the handbrake off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. All fabulous stuff. But see, when I'm watching the games, I don't see anything coming together. I see players running about. Do you know what? We're not going to win the league. That absolutely 100%. We're not going to win the league with that team because that was Celtic's weakest defence, and we didn't lay a glove on them, and made our strongest team out there. And I don't care what he says next about, I'll do this and I'll do that. Tavernier, one last point, and it might sound really naive, right? I would ask John and Stephen to look back. Did you watch McGregor and Tavernier come out of the tunnel on Sunday? Because I looked at McGregor's face, and he had the eyes steely faced, looking out the way Barry Ferguson would have been. I look at James Tavernier slugging out a bottle of water, eyeballs everywhere, and I think that's your captain. I don't honestly think he's
it's hard. A player's never picked the captaincy. That falls on the manager. If James Tavernier isn't quite a good enough Rangers captain, that can't be James Tavernier's fault. Manager, as you say, all these managers keep him the Rangers captain. That falls on them. And I mean, maybe it's happened before, but there's nobody going to go in and say, look, I don't want to be captain anymore. I can't really handle it because it shows such a weakness in your character.
And Michael Beale doesn't have the bottle to drop him. No, that's the problem. No, he doesn't have the bottle.
Yeah, but
Dick Advocaat did it. I said in your show before, Dick Advocaat did it to Ferguson with Amaruso and had the bottle to take off him.
Different times, Paul. As you know, you'd more players. I think you're right in that Michael Beale now, this is the business end of the season for him. There can't be much more talking. He does have to.
These sound bites and stuff like that.
So Paul, what you're saying is, Paul, you leave him in the team, but you take the captaincy off him.
Well, this is it. It's whether he's got. Gerrard did it with Tyler Mings down in Aston Villa, didn't he? Took the captaincy off.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Tyler Mings. I'm not talking about Tyler Mings. What I'm saying to you is, your captain.
Well, what do you do, John?
But your captain is right back, and he's got 104 goals for your club. Answer that one.
Right, well, can I answer it?
Yeah, of course you can.
100% agree with you, but that doesn't make you a great leader, and that's what I'm saying to the fans round about me. Plus, I got into a couple of battles with Rangers fans talking about it because I cannot take away the guy's assists, and I'll never take away that he's led Rangers. I'll not listen. He's a Rangers man. I get that, right? I'm not against him.
Why don't Michael Beale take him off interviews and let somebody else do the post-match interview where he's got to face some really difficult questions under the spotlight when you've just lost and you've not been sort of, you've been the second best team for the best part of 10, 11, 12 years now. You've won the odd trophy, you won the big trophy, everybody says, stopping Celtic 10 in a row, wonderful season under Gerrard. But what I would do, Michael Beale, protect your captain slightly, take him off interviews and give them to somebody like Goldson or now your goalkeeper, senior players, if you like. Just protect him a little bit. Problem, he comes up and says the same things quite a lot, and then he's easy for the Celtic fans to say. Then why are you saying that, James Tavernier? You're repeating yourself. You're not winning games, and it's difficult for him sometimes because he's put in the spotlight. He doesn't shy away from interviews. So for me, you leave him in the team because he's got unbelievable talent. 100 goals from right back. A lot of them are penalties, as we know, but free kicks. His goal up at Ross County was very special. How many times has he done that? His delivery into the box is quality. Take him off interviews. Take him out of the pressure cooker a little bit, but you've got to keep him in the side. He's a tremendous right back.
Stephen,
see, I think that if you took him off the interviews, the criticism would come as well. If Connor Goldson, if Jack Butland's doing the interview, you'd say, "Where's Tavernier? Where's our captain?" I think it all comes under the same. But just come back to the post-match and his interviews, pre-match, everything. Michael Beale after Sunday saying there's nothing between the teams. He's been saying that now in the last few games at Hampden when they narrowly miss out by a goal or two. John's ex-teammate Neil Lennon, an experienced campaigner as a player and as a manager in the fixture, he spoke about being the Rangers or Celtic manager, how you need to win with style against everyone else, but in these games against Celtic, just win. Too many games since Michael Beale's come back to Celtic, he has come out and he said, there's nothing in it and we'll get better, we'll get stronger. You cannot keep losing these games.
Paul, what would you do, mate? Obviously you'd change the captain, but who in terms of who do you see then as the next one? Remember, a captain really hasn't got to be a particularly leader. A captain can just he plays the game sort of by example. He hasn't got to rant and rave and shout, and McGregor's not that type of character anyway. But what he does, he leads by example. He plays well. Tavernier plays well. Okay, he wasn't brilliant at the weekend, but generally.
All right, let's see what Paul says.
I think this is where a manager comes into their own right that has the bottle to do that.
Yeah.
Hence why I said Dick Advocaat did it at the time. And I think you're asking me there. See that the games I've been impressed by, where I've seen a bit of, not in your face, but a bit of like passion and let's go for it. By all means, and Stefan Klos was a goalkeeper, but Jack Butland,